All right. Hello and welcome. I'm so excited to be here today. I am, of course, Beth with From the Heart Coaching and Publishing, and we are live today with one of my favorite people, coaches, authors, and illustrators, Kyria Kalata. We're going to talk with her as soon as we give people a few moments to jump on board and join us, and we're going to get into her book writing adventure, what she's doing, where she's been, where she's going, and I'm really excited to do this and so happy. And thank you, Kyria, for coming on with me on my first live interview and doing this.
Thank you very much. I'm excited to jump into something new, always.
Yes.
For being the amazing coach you are.
Oh, well, thank you for agreeing to and for letting me share in your journeys. It's been really exciting to see where you've gone, what you're doing, and just, well, let's go ahead and get started. And I will introduce you with your amazing bio about all the things that you've been doing in the world so far. So our guest today is Kyria Kalata, founder of Get a Life 2 Coaching. She's a certified life coach who champions entrepreneurial parents to dream with crystal clear focus. Very important. Kyria brings together life experiences from several careers. Her goal has always been to provide people the tools to live a better life. As the TV news producer, she worked at ABC, NBC, CBS, O&O, Hearst Media, and with 2020 and Good Morning America. Once realizing that she wasn't reaching her goals inside the media, she tested out a few other career paths that led her to become a regional sales leader, trainer for a Fortune 500 company, and a project manager in a medical market research field specializing in rare diseases like hemophilia. All of these experiences led Kyria to her own understanding of the Dorothy Effect, a program she created to help clients find the life they want to live. So welcome, Kyria Kalata. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you very much. It's my pleasure.
Wow. So I briefly went over a little bit about you, but why don't you share for people that don't know you some interesting things about your life, your background, and what brought you to where you are today?
Oh, the interesting things. So much, so little time. Currently, avid container gardener and producing my salad lunches out of my own garden, which is really cool. Media background, so I have a journalism background, and I love to deeply explore people and projects and to improve people's lives. And coaching, my thing, 100%. And it's the other 100%. I really love writing books, and I love reading books. That's why I love writing books, because I want to write books that I want to read and that I want other people to read, or that I want to read with other kids and other people.
Mm-hmm. Very cool. Oh, yes, I like the way you said that, with other kids, because you have that playful, kid-like spirit about you, which I think really came out in your book, Inspired by Nature. So you wrote another book about 2 years ago, was when we first started working together, and that book was a totally different genre than the new book. What happened? Why the change? What inspired you to go ahead and do a children's book this time?
That's a great question. What inspired me to do a children's book is something first I've always wanted to do. I've always, since becoming a mom, I've always wanted to write children's books. I think maybe that went back further than that, but that's when the thought became crystal clear, or the dream became crystal clear, was that I wanted to do that. What was the switch between my self-help / craft book and what made me move into this direction? In my other business, which is an education-based business, I work with children, and I realized that the best way to make change in this world is to impact children's lives, and to do it in a way that is natural to them.
Right. Lovely. And how was it this time, the process of writing this book, since it was less writing and more artistic expression?
It was still challenging. I thought, I really did think it was going to be easier since it was more artistically designed. And, I love to paint, and I'm a hobby water paintist. So I really thought it was going to be much easier. But sometimes when I do the paintings, they didn't speak to me as much. Just like when I would write a chapter in my other book, I would be challenged by it just isn't going the right direction I want it to. It's not saying enough, which we talked about the enough. I actually now wear I have enough bracelet now, especially during writing, to remind myself of that. But it was the same thing that tripped me up in the first book, tripped me up in the second book. And I think when we want to put our hearts fully out there, sometimes we worry about, am I actually expressing my exact thoughts clear enough so that others understand it? So that was probably my biggest challenge in it, was worried about that. Even getting it printed, I still had the same challenge in the images, looking at the vibrancy of the color, and it was just like, is it enough? Is it enough? Plagued me still. It plagued me. And it's ironic considering I'm a life coach, but this is normal. This is what we as women deal with, is being enough. So my most important step was probably sharing the printed book with friends and them feeling my paintings and the words that went with it and articulating back to me what I wanted to say. Like, it was spot on amazing. Like, absolutely was wild. I was like, okay, so I did it. I actually did it.
Mm-hmm. Beautiful. Yeah, I love the way you shared the process, and like the picture you posted with opening the box when you got that proof. That was really exciting.
It was really exciting and nerve-wracking. It was like, okay, what's it going to look like? What's it going to look like? What's it going to look like? I don't know if you can see the original proof back there, but it was nerve-wracking. It was like, do I want to see it? It took me about 10 minutes. I mean, I opened it, peeked in, and I'm like, okay, I love the cover. It looks awesome. And I'm just like looking at it like an inch of the spine, and I'm just like, yes. Oh, did I take it out? Okay, I'll take it out. it was like a roller coaster ride.
Mm-hmm. Very cool. And so as you were writing, you'd already done it before, but you chose to have coaching again. Was that because it was different, or what? Why get coach when you've already done it?
Yes, because it was different, but also because the accountability is really helpful. As I mentioned, I run two businesses. I have a coaching business and an educational business. And those two sometimes can knock me off my schedule really fast. And depending on what's going on in my clients' lives, some of them I'm a little more, they're VIP clients, I'm more hands-on. And, we actually meet in person. And sometimes our sessions can be 4 or 6 hours. So I can get knocked off my schedule really fast. And if I have like a 4 or 6 hour schedule with a client, meeting with a client, the next day I usually have some kind of research project that comes out of it, because we need to know more both about what's happening in their entrepreneurial lives. And that's part of what I do, is go that extra mile and dig up the information to help them navigate what direction they should explore more, instead of just saying, hey, that's your project. So that can knock me off my schedule so fast, so fast. So I needed that accountability, that this was a priority, because life happens. Life just bulldozes you over sometimes, and you need that person to remind you, because my calendar's not enough. I can ignore my calendar, but I always make sure that, my coach knows that my life is crazy. Yes. And that she's got to be on me and going, hey, where's book? Hey, where's book? Hey, what's going on? And those email reminders that come in, and the text message reminders are so valuable to me, because they really, I'm going to be completely frank, they're the ass kick I need. And sometimes I need a swift kick.
Yeah.
Even though it's a heart-based passion, it just, this is what happens. And we're moms, so we're busy doing the mom thing. Even with young adult children, I really feel like a lot of times we get this idea that when we send our kids off to elementary school and life becomes easier, and then we don't have to do this chasing around and all this crazy stuff, but it doesn't change. You're a mom first, because nature set us that way. It designed us that way. So we've got that first, and then as coaches, we try not to be a mom to our clients, but our heart is fully in it. So we feel compelled to be everything we can to our clients as well. And then we have the rest of life happening, the cooking, the cleaning, and all of that. It's so easy to back burner our passions for everything else that happens in the front. And having that coach remind me, hey, this is your passion. You need to finish it. Really, really, for me, was helpful.
Oh, good. You bring up a really good subject that I'm wondering, what did you do differently this time to balance it all, to help it be a better experience for you as you were doing this project?
Right. What did I do differently? Because I did learn to let go in the first project quite a bit.
Okay.
So I didn't force paintings or page text to be something when I had an idea, like an inkling of an idea of what this page was going to be about, and either the painting just didn't emerge correctly to match my words, or my words didn't match the page as the painting as well as I thought it would. So what I did is just released it and said, okay, I'll go back to this next month. Maybe it'll come out because maybe it's not time for it, or maybe I need something new, something different than what I originally imagined. So being more flexible with myself was probably huge, and that I definitely learned from the previous book.
Oh, good. And so doing this book and creating this new genre for yourself, what are your plans for the book and next steps?
Okay, next steps is another self-help parenting book. Well, this one's going to be in the parenting realm. The previous one was in the crafting realm of self-help. And then after that, some more children's books. I have some definite great ideas, but those I need to find an artist for, so I'm going to be working on that. But the next thing for the parenting end of it is taking some of the chaos off our plate and having our kids be more helpful with keeping their spaces clean and doing it in a way that they understand from the ages of 2.5 up, that you don't have to be in charge 100% of the time, that you can give them the freedom to clean with the tools they need to do it in with.
Wow. I wish I'd had that book when my daughter was younger.
Well, it works for the teenage years too. Those years, they get sometimes a little messier.
A bit. They can. So very exciting. And are you going to be doing things in terms of taking your book places and reading it to kids, or? Yeah.
Yes, I'm definitely going to be doing some book readings, most definitely on the local level, and I'm looking forward to exploring the national level of reading my book. But definitely, if you're in Orange County, California, there will be some book readings around here.
Oh, wonderful. I will definitely love to attend, because the book is it's so beautiful and such an inspiration. And even just the title, Inspired by Nature, is really, really a wonderful thing. How did you come up with it?
Because I'm inspired by nature. My most stressful point in life, I found that being outdoors really made life more manageable, and I just spent time being in awe of how nature functions. I just think it's a really cool thing. Watching birds and their behavior, watching bees, their behavior, and just even simple domestic animals, cats and dogs, and their behavior. And I just kind of went into a place where I was thinking about, what are they thinking? What are they doing? I mean, when you watch their behavior, sometimes it's like, oh wait, they're doing the same thing we're doing. They have jobs, and they have to feed their kids, and they're doing all the same stuff we're doing, just they're animals. We're
Yeah.
humans. So it was like, okay, I should be able to take some inspiration. To make an assumption that their life isn't stressful is really kind of stupid, because if you think about it, they've got predators. Our predators are creditors. But hey, we still have predators, and they have predators too. So they have to escape them, and they have to, do things in life to make themselves easier. And they still have to go find food, and we have to go find food too. It's just a little different way. And bees do it through their job. Well, it was like, oh wait, the same thing. We have a job. We collect pollen. We go home, and that pollen turns into our rent money. It turns into our food money. It turns into our credit card money. It's the same thing. So I was just like, okay, I'm inspired by nature. And that allowed me to really then go back into my childhood and think about the days that I would spend in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan, laying under the trees, staring off into the gleaming sun coming through the tree leaves. There were pine trees, and it was just like, that was so relaxing. And then I remembered the fields of grass, and that was that was the first picture that I did with the fields of grass, and that was probably my most important thing, because I really went into remembering how the grass fields would sway, and sometimes the wind could blow really hard and they would bend, and then as soon as the wind was done, they would pop back up, and they were strong, and they could just be flexible. And I was like, that is what we need to be in life, is as flexible as the blades of grass. And that started it.
Wow, that's wonderful. So as you're going through it, what's your vision for what you want to help children do or see or understand from reading your book?
From reading my book, I really want them to look towards their nature, even if they're in an urban environment like I am, and see how they can be inspired by that environment, to see that even if they feel sad, that's okay, or if they're feeling alone, that it's okay to feel those things, because later they can feel differently. Like my seashell page with the ocean sharing with others, and it's sharing its treasures. And I want them to see, oh, that they're sharing, I can share too. So I really want them to take and have that calming feel that nature provides, and take the strength from that and use that in their life. And I want them to be able to have that kind of dialogue with their family who reads the book with them.
Yeah, how lovely. Yeah, it looks like a really good opportunity for parents to share with kids what nature means to them and to experience the book together.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I actually have a few adults who are reading the book without young children, and they're actually taking it as part of their meditative process, which is really inspiring for me to see them morphing it into a tool, because I wanted to create an affirmation type book for children, but I didn't want it to be affirmations, because affirmations need to be personal. For them to actually function and work, they need to be personal. And so I wanted a book that would inspire them to create their own affirmations naturally, to be like a second language for them. And the parent reading it, or the grandparent reading it, can also then have that moment and kind of retrain their brain to think in positive ways.
Beautiful. I love the way you bring that in with using the I am statements to introduce things. So that's really just a beautiful way of doing that and inspiring them, and they're not even realizing it, and taking that as a tool going forward in life.
Absolutely.
So,
yes.
Thank you for putting in the work and following through to make that happen, because it's a beautiful book. I'm really excited for you.
Thank you very much. I am too.
Wonderful. So let's wrap up a little bit, as we've talked about like where you've been and what you're doing next. What do you have to say to other authors, to people thinking about writing their first children's book?
Definitely. First, do it. Absolutely do it. There's a need for it. Make sure your art is great. I mean, it doesn't have to be like, Van Gogh great, but it needs to be great. Kids are attracted by artwork. Oh, that's like the main thing, I think. The words are secondary to it. And the third thing I would say is to just be open-minded to how you're going to do it, the process. Don't think about, should I get a publisher? Just get the book done first, and then figure out what avenue you're going to take to get it published. You know, self-publishing is something I'm absolutely in love with. So I recommend it, but I know that there's a lot of people out there that want to do the publishing road, and I had dreamed of doing the publishing road, but I'm kind of a control freak. So I wanted my story to be my story. And that I have the possibility with for self-publishing. If I went through the publishing route, there would have been changes made, and it may not have felt the way that I wanted it to feel. And the feedback that I've received from people reading it says it feels the way I designed it. And that's
Beautiful.
the most important thing. So be creative, be open-minded, and definitely think about your artwork.
Excellent. That is great advice. Thank you. So as you're thinking about your vision and what you've created, has it changed any from doing this book for your vision of life or your business?
It's really, now that I've done the 2 books, it's been really a reminder, eye-opener to that I've always wanted to be a writer, and I really do love doing water painting as well, so that may be incorporated in more of my books in the future. I don't know. But, you know, adding writing to my title is really, it's as important as coaches to my title.
Oh.
It supersedes my degree in journalism and communications. That is, you know, I thought when I got that was such a meaningful thing and it was important, but it was only important for a career, for a job. It wasn't important for me as who I am. This is.
There's a difference.
Big difference.
Wow. Well, that's just wonderful. I love being able to speak with you and see the progress and the process that you went through, and just the beautiful work that you're doing and going to continue to do. So,
thank you.
Again, thank you for writing it, for letting me share in the process. It was a eye-opening and learning experience for me as well, because you were actually my first illustrator as well as writer, because usually I just work with people only writing. So it was life-changing, I think, in many ways. So
awesome.
So anything you wanted to say, final words that you really want to get across to the audience before we go?
Absolutely. The biggest thing I would want to get across is that creating your support environment is critical to you completing any type of project that you envision doing, be it a book or art or anything else. Having a support system that they don't have to get it, they just need to be there and accountable is so valuable. Absolutely the most important thing. And that's something that if I didn't have the support system of you while doing this project, it would have never been finished. It wouldn't have never been done. It may never have even been started. It may have just ended up staying in my head as an idea.
Well, I'm glad we got it out of your head and out to the world. It's wonderful.
Thank you. Me too.
All right. Well, thank you again for your time and for just sharing your heart and your beautiful book, Inspired by Nature. It is available on Amazon, correct?
Absolutely.
Okay.
In print and Kindle.
Okay, beautiful. So if you want a physical book, you want a Kindle version, get them both. They're beautiful books. You will love them. And just thank you, everybody that's joined us, anybody watching in the future. This is Beth from The Heart Coaching and Publishing, and my client and friend, Kalata, who wrote Inspired by Nature. So have a great day, and thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.